Welcome back to the Dr. DC channel, guys. Guys, I got some interesting news, man. What if I told y'all there was probably 3 people that we might cut on the team, and 3 of them's offensive players? You'd probably be like, yeah, right, bro. We're not, that ain't gonna happen. Talking about starters. Which 3 would it be? Because I read an article the other day. So check this out, guys. This is some interesting stuff. You're gonna want to see this. If nothing else, at least it's something interesting to think about anyway. Coming up right now. The Dallas Cowboys have built their current roster around Jason Garrett's vision. Could that lead to some stars being traded away by Mike McCarthy? When Jason Garrett took over as the Dallas Cowboys head coach in the middle of the 2010 season, he sold Jerry Jones in the front office on a vision. That vision was simple to see. Garrett wanted to build an offense that could dominate in the trenches. After never using a first-round pick on an offensive lineman since purchasing the team in 1989, Jones and company selected 3 in a 4-year period. Not only did they draft Tyron Smith in 2011, Travis Frederick in 2013, and Zach Martin in 2014, but they also went for Connor Williams in the second round of the 2017 NFL Draft and landed La'el Collins after he fell out of the draft. In addition to this impressive offensive line, Dallas invested heavily in the ground game as they used a number 4 overall pick in 2016 on Ezekiel Elliott, who has twice led the league in rushing. Before he was there, they also had DeMarco Murray, who led the league in yardage in 2014. However, that philosophy could be changing now with Garrett now out. The Cowboys are turning things over to Mike McCarthy, the former Super Bowl winning coach from the Green Bay Packers. He has a history of relying heavily on the pass. While he is retaining Kellen Moore as offensive coordinator, it seems as though they could be even more pass happy this coming season. And they still did air it out in 2019, which was Moore's first season as a play caller. The changes don't end there, as Mike Nolan was brought in to coach the defense. He brings a much different philosophy than Rod Marinelli and could look to move the team to a 3-4 defense, which is what he typically runs. With that being a possibility, could the Cowboys look to trade some of their higher priced players this season? Here are 3 names to watch, should that be the case. Travis Frederick. Yes, Travis Frederick is a 5-time Pro Bowl selection and one of the best centers in the NFL. He also recently made a big comeback after missing all of the 2018 season as he battled Guillain-Barré syndrome. He also was a huge win for the Cowboys front office after they used the 31st pick in the 2013 NFL Draft on him. So with that being the case, why would he potentially be traded? The answer is simple: money. Dallas wasn't wrong in drafting so many good offensive linemen, but they did make some questionable decisions as they decided to pay not one of the linemen but all of them. So entering 2020, the Cowboys will be paying roughly $50 million to 4 of their offensive linemen. In fact, according to OverTheCap.com, 3 of the top 4 highest paid players are on the line, and 4 of the top 6 are O linemen. That's too much money to be paying to one positional group, especially with guys such as Dak Prescott, Amari Cooper, and Byron Jones all needing new contracts. Something will have to give, and with McCarthy not as dedicated to paying a ton for offensive linemen, he could look to move on from at least one of them. Frederick could be that guy because there could be some suitable replacements found either in the draft or free agency. What could prevent that from happening is the fact that Frederick being traded would create a lot of dead money and very little savings. Still, it could be a possibility. Number 2, Tyrone Crawford, another player who could be on the trading block, is defensive lineman Tyrone Crawford. While he is a very talented player, Crawford enters the 2020 with a rather high price tag. OverTheCap.com has him with a cap hit of $9.1 million. And if the Cowboys decided to trade him, they could save $8 million while having just 1.1 million dead money to deal with. He never truly stayed inside though, as necessity pushed him back to the defensive end. Injuries to DeMarcus Lawrence, suspensions for Randy Gregory, and some questionable draft picks on the defensive line made it to where Crawford continually jumped inside and out and continued to play well despite not recording flashy numbers. But coming off another injury and turning 30 could be enough to get Dallas looking. If no takers are found, Crawford could still be a player that ends up being let go, as even cutting him would save the same amount of cap space. The problem is there might not be many takers unless Crawford was willing to restructure his current deal. A third round pick out of Boise State in 2012, Crawford was one of the many players to come from the BSU pipeline that Jason Garrett had a strong affinity for. Dallas has been more than thrilled with the results, as Crawford has been a solid player despite never finding a true home on the line. When he first joined the team, he was used as a defensive end in the 3-4 system Rob Ryan ran. He then missed all of his second season with an injury, but returned in 2014 and played defensive tackle in Rod Marinelli's 4-3. This one would be the most shocking, but finally, Tyron Smith. There is a chance it could happen. He was the first player who signified a huge change in the drafting philosophy for the Cowboys, as he was the first offensive lineman that Garrett brought in as a first round pick. At just 20 years of age when he came into the league, Smith was able to get a lot of experience and landed a big contract in 2014. He signed a massive 8-year extension worth $109 million. That signing was smart by Dallas, as Smith is still under contract, and at $13.5 million, it's a bit of a bargain for his skill set. On top of that, he's still just 29 years of age, which is crazy for a guy entering his 10th season. With all that being said, it seems crazy to think Dallas would ever consider trading Tyron Smith. And had Garrett stayed, there would be no way this could even be a thought. However, with McCarthy in town, there are no ties, and it could be something that they could do to free up a lot of money. Moving on from Smith would save the Cowboys more than $8 million. That wouldn't be worth it if it wasn't for the fact that Dallas is already paying so much to linemen. There's also the fact that Smith has missed 3 games in each of the past 4 seasons. McCarthy could look at those two things and decide that the Cowboys would be better going with a cheaper option, most likely a draft pick. There's no guarantees he will move on from anyone, but there's no way to pay everyone. And so far, Dallas has been trying to do just that. Should they finally realize they need to spread the money to other positional groups, there's a big chance that someone from this expensive line could be on the way out. So there you go, Cowboy fans. This is Dr. DC. Now that was the article I was telling y'all about that I read a couple of days ago, and I'll leave the link for the article if you want to check it out yourself. You can go check it out yourself. I would not want to get rid of Travis Frederick, and I would not want to get rid of Tyron Crawford. If we can find somebody to replace him, I'm good with that. I mean, I understand McCarthy doesn't have ties to any of them, but I just don't see him getting rid of Frederick or Smith. But, these are just my thoughts. Like I said, it was just an interesting article, I thought, as a Cowboys fan. I'm a big diehard. And so, guys, don't forget to help my channel out here, guys. I'm a new channel. I'm trying to get up there with the big boys maybe one day, where I can have a nice channel like they do, and we can do cool giveaways and stuff like that when the channel gets big, man. We can do lots of fun stuff, man. So shout out to everybody out there and all my cowboy diehards. Thanks for watching. Peace.